What is this cast iron thing I found under a house in town in Newfoundland, Canada? The two flared ends are threaded on, so probably meant to rotate, and the bottom point is also threaded, maybe for adding tension. It's about 14 inches tall, and it was found under a house built in 1920. A friend suggested it's an anchor plate, but the house it was found underneath has no bricks, just wood and siding. Can anyone help identify this? It's an antique car detachable spare tire carrier, made by the Trip Secord and Company, circa 1920s. It was used for carrying a second spare tire, in addition to the spare tire already installed on the car. It was common to just carry a spare tire without the rim, and it needed one of these to get the tire on. It was patented on October 16, 1923, by Walter E. Kelly of Highland Park, Michigan. What is this, and what did it attach to? It looks like a stirrup or foot pedal, but I'm not sure. It measures 7.25 inches long, the circle around the star is 4 inches in diameter, and it has X720 stamped on it. I found Amish wagon or carriage steps that are somewhat similar, but without any fold-up feature. Does anyone know what it's from? It's the lever part of a cow watering bowl. It was patented on November 12, 1929, by Howard J. Ferris of Harvard, Illinois. The patent says it regulates the force of water that flows into the bowl without driving the water out of the bowl, as would occur if the water enters the bowl under excess pressure. What is this thing I found in my Berliner basement? The previous tenants left it there. I'm pretty sure it's enamel. Other than that, I have no clue what this is supposed to be. I don't know the exact size of each enamel thingy, but it was like 35 centimeters long, I guess, and both are connected by a screw. It kinda creeps me out. Does anyone know? These are the legs of an older appliance, like a 1950s wringer washing machine, or two of the four legs for a 1950s cast iron bathtub. The legs are very similar to yours. What is this random spinning metal farming implement on the back of a trailer? My partner and I just bought a little homestead or sheep farm, and the old owners left us this trailer. It has these spinning scoops on the back that are connected to the wheels by belts. We cannot figure out what this had been used for in the past. The spinning implements don't touch the ground, so it's not some kind of tiller. Maybe for chewing up and spreading hay, but I don't know why you would need that. The trailer is a little bit narrower than my arm's width. Definitely a puzzle. Any help would be awesome. It's a manure spreader to fertilize the fields. There should be a drag chain on both sides with drag bars connected to them that move the manure from the front of the spreader to the back. You can see the shaft and sprockets for the chains that would operate the apron chain down below the throwers. What are these weird stools found at the curb in an old industrial area in Rochester, New York? These two stools, if that's what they are, have some decent age. They are super solid and made of some kind of dense fruit wood. The oak shaft is permanently fixed in one of the stools, protrudes downward beneath the legs, and is perforated, apparently to accept pegs. The end of the shaft is split in the center by a wedge that holds it in place in the seat of one chair. The second stool has no shaft of its own, but can accept the end of the other stool's shaft. There are single, wooden threaded holes inside the seats of each chair that run parallel to the seat surface from the outer edge into the shaft opening. They look like they have something to do with food, parts of an apple press perhaps, but they are clearly stools and rock solidly made. I know furniture, carpentry, and antiques, having worked professionally in all three areas, and I'm stumped. The seats are about a foot across, and from the construction, I'd guess they were made anywhere between 1880 and 1940. If anyone has a clue about what it is, that would be greatly helpful. You have the base of two 1940s sit-right adjustable stool that have been stacked together. They are missing the seats and backs, which is possibly why they were left at the curb. They were manufactured in solid birch wood by the Edward L. Koenig Company in Chicago during the steel-rationed World War II era. It's credited as being the first American-made ergonomic stool. The seat height is shifted by loosening two 10-inch bolts that run through the base's platform, while the backrest can be shifted several inches forward, backward, up, and down. It was patented on February 13, 1945, by Edward L. Koenig of Wilmette, Illinois. These roughly 20-foot-long poles are hexagonal in shape and have metal ends. Some of the ends are threaded, some are just metal rods, and they are somewhat flexible. I found them in our detached garage of the house we moved into, that was built in the 40s. I'm not sure if our location would help, but we're in Indianapolis. It would be nice to know what it was used for. They're definitely old wooden sucker rods from a well. If you have a windmill, the blade is hooked to a crank. The crank hooks to the sucker rod and connects to the pump that is down in the well. When it gets pulled out of a well, it often gets salvaged and repurposed to make fences and stuff like that. Was this device simply used for transporting people through snow? Or was it possibly used in the ice trade, like ice cutting or harvesting? I snapped this pic from an old photo hanging on the wall at the Von Trapp Family Lodge and Resort in Vermont, USA, so I'm not sure if it's a photo from the environs of the state of Vermont or back in the Von Trapp's home country of Austria. Can anyone help out? It's a snow wooden roller, used to pack down the snow on roads in winter to make it easier for sleighs to travel. And even after the early cars and trucks came into use, many of them were stored for the winter in favor of horse-drawn sleighs and pungs, which were basically work sleds. Obviously, cars and sleighs couldn't easily coexist, so at some point, snow rollers went out of business, as did the sleighs. I recently visited a family member, and they wanted help finding out what this is used for. It's made of metal and wood, approximately 18 inches long by 4.75 inches wide, and 2.5 inches deep, with no writings or maker's mark of any kind. If anyone has a clue about what it is, that would be greatly helpful. It's a vintage clay pigeon thrower, designed for a simpler, less powerful way to practice shooting at clay targets. It functions by placing a clay in a spring-tensioned jaw, cocking the device, then swinging the unit and flicking it to release the clay. It was patented on July 5, 1938, by Crawford C. Loomis for the Remington Arms Company Incorporated of Ilion, New York. What is this stained glass triangular stand with metal soldered edges and twisted wire hooks found in a second-hand shop? The staff have no idea either. Approximately 25 by 12 by 8 centimeters, and the material is acrylic or something to mimic stained glass. It has an old Tiffany-style solder beading and twisted wire form additional support braces, as well as two curved sections of wire extending from the edges of the shortest section. I cannot determine whether they serve a purpose. Google Lens Search thinks it's a wheel chock, which is wrong. It doesn't seem like it would be strong enough to hold much more than a few kilos. Any ideas? Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.